this government, this prime minister, is the most dangerous that Jamaica has ever had. He is committed to making Jamaica a totalitarian state through the back door, a police state through the back door. You notice his entire plan for crime is always states of emergencies. Who does that impact? The poor people them. The people them who they make to suffer and turn them into vagabonds. They then go down there and terrorize those people. When the real problem is at the top. It is those who are thief for money, those who are cover for big criminals, those who are allow the guns and ammunition into the country, and them we need to stop. So let's go ahead. Let's try again.
Right. All right. So you just said that both parties, the JLP and the PNP, are funded by the same entity.
Absolutely.
See, that's a mind blower right there. And I don't think a lot of us are aware of that. And if that is the case, then I am absolutely right then in my thought that this is just two sides to the same coin then.
Absolutely. That's what Jamaica people need to understand.
Wow.
For the last 78 years, from 1944 until now, remember, the two parties colluded together to get rid of Marcus Garvey and the Marcus Garvey Party back in 1938. Okay? The colonial masters sponsored the two colonial parties. They sponsored these two parties. They supported them and get them to become the visible representation of the Jamaican people. But it's fake. They're not representing the Jamaican people. They're first of all representing the colonial masters, and then secondarily, and over time more so, the local elites, which now runs the PSOJ organization. So they come together and meet, and they give equal amount of money normally to both parties. Occasionally, they may give a little more to one or the other if they find that you're really doing what they want to do. So for example, when Michael Manley wasn't doing what they want to do, they just shift the money over to the JLP. And if the JLP isn't doing what they want to do, then they shift the money over to the PNP. But generally speaking, they fund both of them equally because the outcome doesn't matter. As long as the leader of the party the leader and the leadership of the party is committed to doing their will, they continue to support them financially. If you ever elect a leader in any of the two parties, which is not following the script, they quickly cut him off from funding, right? So Jamaicans never get to elect a real government. So what the UIC has done now, we have said the UIC is the People's Party. We don't want the money from UNO. We don't want the money from the PSOJ elites. We want going to take our money entirely from the ordinary men and women who give $1,000 a month Jamaican, or $25 a month US, or $50 a month. And that's how we have been growing from the grassroots. Now, if they would allow us, every time they bring me on TV, they get flooded with people saying, that's what I want. And then they quickly cut it off. They bring me on normally to try to ridicule me because they love when some little idiot come on, you see. They bring on some people from some little independent candidates and they sound fool. They like that kind of stuff. They don't want any intelligent, well-informed, well-intended, well-developed intellectually and financially to be able to come on and give the Jamaican people an alternative. And so for the last several years, particularly since let me tell you something. Again, I'm going to tell you something that most people don't know. In 2017-18, they changed the electoral rules. Prior to 2017-18, there were no rules for political party. Anybody could form a party. There's no rules at all, and you could do whatever you want. Now, these two parties did whatever they wanted from 1948 until 2018. In 2018, at the behest of their colonial masters, they brought in new laws which restricted political parties and what they call regulations. But the purpose of the regulations was to eliminate third parties. And they eliminated all third parties in 2018 with these new laws and regulations, which was to cement now these two parties as the permanent fixture of Jamaica's politics. Now, the UIC challenged that. So we, in February of 2019, myself, my wife, and other delegations from the party carried a big Bible of regulatory requirements that we have met. We went around street by street, town by town, and collected over 1,300 signatures and members of the party. And we filled out all the forms that they had, and we got the money that they required, and we applied for party status. They fought us vehemently for 10 months to stop us from becoming a political party. And I had a chance to create a lot of stir publicly until they had to back off and then gave us party status on December 2nd, 2019. Since then, they took a different approach now. Give him less media attention. Don't carry anything from them. And so the media, generally speaking, not all the times, sometimes they call me for a token thing and to see if they can spin it. Sometimes they call me and even call me a liar on their program. And we have to now show later on evidence that what we're saying is actually true. And so it has been an uphill battle. So while the ordinary person sits out there, when I hear nothing about the UIC, it is orchestrated, it is planned, it is designed. And the goal is to make sure you don't hear. And when you do hear, it must be something negative that you do hear so that you can go back to the normal and just vote PNP or GLP.
You know, that this is quite upsetting.